But I guess that's the way it is, you know. It's horrible, but we have to get through it. So this is pretty private, but I guess I'll share it. We're here today for this video. It's a sad video. Some sad things that we've gone through this summer, and so we just wanted to talk about that. First of all, in June, shortly after we got back to the Buffalo area, staying in the campground, I found out that my friend, both of our friends,
yeah.
Betty, had passed away. She was a woman from our church, and I became friends with her when we were here in town, and she ran a group at our church. She did a lot of things at our church. She was very active in our church, but she ran a group called Needlebugs. I guess formerly it was called Knitting Kittens. I wasn't with it back then. But when I joined it, it was called Needlebugs. And basically we would get together. People would donate yarn from the church. They would come and donate the yarn to her, and she would like wash it and straighten it out and everything. And then we would get that yarn and we would make things, and we would donate. We made hats for soldiers once. Mm-hmm. We made baby blankets and baby hats, I think. So we made a few different things. We would come up with different projects, and I was actually her right-hand man for a while. And so we met at her house, and we also met at the church, and I really liked being together with the group and all crocheting together. We met about once a month. I have some footage of when I went to Betty's funeral. Sal was working that day, and he wasn't able to go, and so I went by myself. I'm going to my friend Betty's funeral now. Sal can't go. He knew her too, but he has to work. But I really wanted to go, so I'm going. I've been really sad about it for a few days since I heard that she had passed away. She was older, not that old though. I think she was around 80-ish. So I'm gonna miss her. The viewing is at our church, our old church where we used to go, and the service is here. I don't want to invade anybody's privacy, so I'll just do a quick shot of our church, our old church. This is actually the church where we got married back in 2011. It was really hard to lose Betty, and we were really upset because we didn't get to see her again after we left.
No. From what I remember of Betty, she was one of the most caring, giving persons that I knew. When we started this RV life, she actually helped us. She actually took some of our stuff and gave it to people who needed it, and she actually helped us to empty out our house.
We took a lot of our stuff to her house, and we left it there, and I think I actually have a bit of footage of me with her on that day. So this is Betty.
Going over my yarn.
I'm here with my friend Betty. We're getting to see each other one more time before we leave town.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see her.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. I'm gonna miss you.
And then that was June, and then in July, I had a friend from grade school, and her name was Yvonne, and we were both the same age. She was actually like 6 months younger than me. I hadn't seen her in about 15 years, I think. But I had been planning to contact her and try to get together with her, and then I suddenly found out that she had passed away. Mm. And I believe she had a broken leg, I think, and then she had to have some kind of surgery on it. And then one day she went to sleep and she didn't wake up. And so they think she had a blood clot.
And she was, like you were saying, she was fairly young. And
it was surprising, you know, it was a real shock to find out she had passed away. And Sal had actually met her. Mm-hmm. We went to her father died about, I think it was 3 months after my mom I think my mom passed away first, and then her father passed away in December 2005, and Sal went with me to the wake and the funeral. And the strange thing, something very strange happened there at that funeral home.
I got a premonition that my dad was in the casket in one of the rooms at that funeral home. And
When we were leaving?
when we were leaving, and it was an uncomfortable feeling. I didn't like it, but he ended up actually being in that funeral home. I don't know how many years later.
Yeah, he
He
ended up,
was in there.
it was strange because he died 9 years after that.
Yeah.
And he ended up, and it's funny because the family tried to go to different funeral homes and they couldn't get into one. And then I suggested it, and then they ended up going with that funeral home.
Yeah.
And Sal's dad was in that exact room. And he had
Yeah.
forgotten about the premonition that he had had. And then when his dad was actually laid in that room, he was like, oh, wow, I had this vision that his
My
dad,
dad
was
was in
laid.
there. Yeah.
So it was, it was sad to lose my friend Yvonne. And then in August, my friend Marianne passed away. She had had cancer, and I had heard around Christmas time that she was not doing well, and then she must have been doing okay, and then she just kind of suddenly passed away. She used to actually live upstairs from me, and I babysat her kids, and I think our lives just went in different directions, so we kind of lost touch. We were in touch like on Facebook and stuff, and I had seen her a few years ago, and I saw one of her kids all grown up, but I hadn't seen her much other than that. So that was sad that she passed away.
Yeah, it was.
And then in September, I have a friend that I used to work with at PetSmart, and her husband, we have been praying for him for years. He went in the hospital, and then he ended up passing away. And that was really sad. We were just surprised because we prayed for him so much, and he always did okay.
He always pulled through, but I guess it was just finally his time.
So that was really sad. And then yesterday, we have a friend named Deb, and we had actually camped with her in Quartzsite, and she was in our video, and she had been diagnosed with colon cancer. It's not quite 2 years ago, about a year and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she was doing okay. She had been juicing and doing her own kind of natural treatments. If you know her, you probably know what that is. Are those ducks or something?
Those are ducks, I think, or geese or something.
Okay. So she was doing her own kind of natural treatment. And so she was doing fine. It was almost a year after she got diagnosed. I believe she went in, she had appendicitis, and that's how they discovered it, when they took her appendix out. We saw her in March, and we were with her for a couple of weeks, and we really got to know her, and we got close to her. And then around May or June, she had some kind of problem. She had a blockage or something. She was staying at a friend's house, and then she ended up going in the hospital, and I believe she had surgery, and then they said that she had like 6 months to live, and that was around May or June. And then we were just praying for her. So many people were praying for her, and then the last few weeks, I think about early September, she said that she was going into hospice, that she needed some help. And so then we didn't hear from her on her Facebook at all. And so last 3 weeks have been really rough for me. I've been praying for her to be healed, and kept hearing bad news, and I didn't know how to pray anymore, and I just didn't want to give up hope that she would be healed. And it was bothering me. And one day I was just like, Sal was at work, and I was just frantically cleaning, and I was just like so upset, and just trying to not be upset. And I prayed, and then I felt better. And then yesterday I found out that she had passed away. I found out late in the day, and it was funny because I was so upset all day about her. I had gotten, actually, when I texted her last time, I got a few texts from her son, and he was kind of keeping me updated about what was going on. And so then yesterday I found out she had died from, and I was so upset. It's funny because I was going to write to my friend, a mutual friend of me and Deb's, Carolyn. She was friends with her before I was, and I met Deb actually through Carolyn in 2018. I think we met December.
2018, I think it was, yeah.
I found out she died, and we watched this tribute video, and it's just really rough. It's hard to believe that she's gone.
It is hard. I mean, she was just so full of life. I mean, I feel like we just saw her yesterday, and I just remember hugging her when we left Quartzsite, and we were looking forward to seeing her again and camping with her. We were just becoming good friends with her, and we felt comfortable with her. And this is a tough one, you know, to lose a friend like that, especially when you're on the beginning of a friendship, and it's just tough. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, we're gonna miss her. We really are.
It's not always easy to find people that you connect with, and you know, we felt connected to her. We felt comfortable with her, and it made it hard.
Yeah. She had a good spirit. I mean, she was, like I said, she just had a great attitude, and she was just so full of life, which makes this so hard to accept.
Now, we had a couple of interesting experiences yesterday that I wanted to share about this whole thing. Yesterday morning, when Sal woke up, and I was awake, and he said to me, "Well, tell me what you told me in the morning."
I said that I heard this voice in my head that was saying, "Rejoice in the Lord, rejoice in the Lord, rejoice in the Lord." And the thing about it is that it was a woman's voice. And I thought to myself, well, you know, angels maybe sound like women sometimes, I guess. And so later on that morning, I told you about it. And I said, Sharon, I heard this voice in my head when I was still asleep, and it was saying, "Rejoice in the Lord, rejoice in the Lord," and it kept saying it over and over. I thought it was kind of weird, but I've gotten some revelations sometimes, you know, especially when I'm doing a lot of Bible studies and things like that. But anyway, and so I told Sharon about it. And what did you think about it?
We both thought it was odd. I remember
Yeah.
thinking, a woman's voice? Why would he hear a woman's voice? Like, you think
Yeah.
of God as a man, you would think it would be a man's voice. So we just went on with our day, and we didn't think about it anymore. One thing that happened was yesterday I do various forms of prayer, but I also have this is a prayer journal, and sometimes I actually write my prayers, especially if I'm feeling kind of scattered and off, and we've both been feeling a little bit off, I'd say, the
Yeah.
past week. We've
Yeah.
just been, I don't know. We've both been kind of feeling off and scattered, and so yesterday I was, I had heard that Deb wasn't doing very well, and I didn't want to give up faith. I wanted to keep my hope right up to the end, never give up. And so I wrote some things in my prayer journal, and this is very private, but I'm going to go ahead and read it anyway. So this is pretty private, but I guess I'll share it. This is what I wrote in my prayer journal yesterday. Dub, dub, dub. That's a big one. She was the last person we hugged when we left Quartzsite in March. She seemed fine and full of life. Then she had some kind of blockage or something, went to a friend's house, and then the hospital. They gave her 6 months, said the cancer had spread, and now she's in hospice. I want to pray and believe for her healing, but honestly, I don't know what to pray anymore. Regarding Deb, I praise you and thank you, God, for I thank you if she gets healed. I fully surrender Deb to you for you to take care of. Take care of it, God. Take care of it. I trust you to take care of Deb. I trust you to take care of me, whatever happens with Deb. I believe it's your will to heal Deb. I'm not sure how it all works, but I will try to continue. I just had a vision of Deb picking up her mat and jumping for joy, healed and happy, jumping like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, jumping like the lame man in Acts, jumping and dancing like the man who was lowered through the roof when Jesus was preaching, jumping and laughing like the man who was healed at Bethesda. Be healed, Deb. Pick up your bed and walk, Deb. Run. Rejoice, Deb. You are healed and restored. In Jesus' name, amen. So then, after I read this to Sal last night. He said to me, "Oh, remember that I heard that voice when I was sleeping." He had just remembered. Do you remember what you said?
I thought that maybe that was Deb rejoicing that she was healed, and she was telling us, rejoice, rejoice in the Lord. I'm okay. Don't be too sad. Just rejoice in the Lord. Especially after what Sharon read to me about healing, and it kind of came together.
Yeah, it's funny after I wrote it, I wondered if she was still with us at that point, and now I know she wasn't. And so it's just funny that I had this vision of her picking up her mat and jumping for
joy. Exactly. That's
healed
the thing.
And happy.
Yeah, that's the thing that stands out to me mostly. So yeah.
It's I cried myself to sleep last night. It was a really rough night. And that's one thing, I've gone through so many losses this summer. You never really know what somebody's going through, and you never know what somebody's going through physically and mentally, and they might not talk about it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. That's what I've been going through this summer.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the way it is, It's horrible, but we have to get through it.
It's always hard to lose people, and there's just one thing I can't get used to is losing the people that are close to us, that we love, our friends, and it's just something I guess I'll never get used to, and I guess we just have to comfort ourselves knowing that someday we'll see them again, and that God will make sure to bring us all together again someday. We're gonna miss all our friends, but especially Deb. We're gonna miss her, but we have to comfort ourselves with what I heard in my head. She said, rejoice in the Lord.
Over and over.
Rejoice in the Lord. So that kind of comforts us a little bit, knowing that she's rejoicing in the Lord, and she's with the Lord now.
I love you, Deb, and we'll miss you.
We love you, Deb. Okay. You have safe travel.
Yes, you too. Good to see you. Love you both. All right, see you both down the road.
Okay.
Yeah.